listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Once Upon a Time in Wonderland After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Once Upon a Time in Wonderland After Show.
Hey, I can't hear myself. Do I sound loud?
Yeah, you should.
I can hear you. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another Once Upon a Time in Wonderland after show. If you're watching this, I'm leaning in because my chair is too far back and I'm too short to pull it in. This is
awesome
episode
start.
7, Bad Blood. It's all about Jafar's dad and Alice's dad.
People got daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
That's actually what it should have been called, daddy issues.
Can I just say though, aside, this has nothing to do with Wonderland, almost, sort of. I saw Frozen over the break, and now I really want those characters to be in this show.
Really?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
I want the characters.
No spoilers. I'm going to go see it next week.
I just want them to be in this show. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, they are Disney, so
That's
maybe.
what I mean.
Maybe.
I'd rather see like Luke Skywalker in it before I see.
Yes,
We
Luke
can have
and
that
Leia.
too. Have that too. Although I'm not sure. Well, Mark Hamill's probably had the budget for it. I mean,
Oh. Because he...
That's terrible.
well, I mean, we are talking about like TV budget versus movie budget. It's like Mark Hamill's the only one that
But back to Wonderland.
it's a TV budget. Anyway, so Jafar's backstory. We start off in Agrabah.
First of all, who are you?
Oh my God!
It's
I'm
Friday,
so tired.
guys.
It's been a
The
long week.
The holidays are coming up.
Yeah,
It's
I'm so sorry. I've had like no sleep. I am Jacque Borowski. Now that you know who I am, and I'm here with Tiona Hobson,
Hello.
Keetin Marchi,
Hey guys.
and Marisa Serafini.
Hello.
And Phil Svitek in the booth.
Hello.
Phil loves Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
It's his favorite show. The reason
After Rain.
Yeah, the reason he doesn't talk during our after shows, he's so in awe of the show, he can't speak.
Yep.
That's one way to put it.
And you guys have great opinion that I could never.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Apparently, yes. So now that you know who we all are, I'm so sorry.
Jafar's backstory.
Jafar's backstory. Everybody's dads are mean. I feel like the theme of this episode was dads are mean, and I felt bad. I wanted to call my dad and be like, thanks for not being mean.
But you know what I respect about Jafar's dad? Was that he never let down. Like, even at the very end, when he
Yeah.
was still like,
jerk.
he was still a jerk. He's still like, I'm still not gonna love you. Like, none of this matters to me still.
I
And
am
was like, you know, that's
consistently an
awesome.
a-hole.
Well, I mean, he obviously had no reason to even say that he loved him. Like, he was being tortured consistently for who knows how long he's had Jafar.
Right.
But like, I mean, he probably thought Jafar was going to kill him anyway, so he might as well take control of his own death and try to kill himself. He didn't care at that point, and he was not going to give Jafar what he wanted. Like,
Nope.
no. He's just as stubborn as Jafar. The apple does not fall far from the tree, everybody.
So in the beginning of the story, Jafar's mom dies and her soul becomes fairy dust or something that goes off in the wind, which becomes important later in the story.
Yeah.
So then Jafar has this ring that is his father's ring, and he goes off to find his father. And so he steals something.
yeah,
At the palace, yeah.
He steals something at the palace, and because that's the only way he'll know that he gets an audience with the king, and he knows the punishment is to cut off your hand, so he puts the ring on the hand that they're supposed to cut off. He goes up there, and the dad is like, "Where did you get that?" And the dad's like, "Ermagerd," and he's like, "You know who I am, Ermagerd." And so then, sadly, there is no Jasmine. There's just Mirza.
yeah.
Mirza,
What the
yeah.
heck?
Yeah, that
What?
made me really angry. I was like,
Maybe the new sultan, that's the sultan like now, has a daughter named Jasmine.
okay.
Oh,
Because it would be
hopefully.
weird if like like Jasmine was related to Jafar by blood. That would be weird.
And if you think about it,
No, but it would be so
no,
Wonderland.
yeah, exactly.
It's so once
Jafar
upon a
is a
time.
lot older than Jasmine and Aladdin, so
Jasmine's like
they're probably
15 or
not even
16.
born yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jafar was, he was older, so I think it makes sense that
Yeah.
I
we
don't
didn't
know.
see her yet.
I don't know if it was just me, but like this whole episode about Jafar, I was like, Jafar's hot. Like, since he got rid of that Jerry curl, I was like a little maybe because I thought this episode was really boring, that I was just happy I had some eye candy. I was just like, wow, the seam. I never was so.
He's
I
like
was
Fabio now with his hair.
Well, I was really attracted to him in Lost, but that was like years ago. So good for you, Nassim. He's hot. He's rocking it.
He's definitely
rocking
attractive.
the Fabio
You know
hair.
what it is? It's the confidence, though. It's he wears that costume,
That glittery costume.
that glittery costume.
With that blowout.
With that blowout, with the ultimate confidence. Like, he's such a good actor, though, that he could wear, like, a trash bag with, like, glitter thrown on it.
You could wear a Jerry curl.
Yeah, and a Jerry
That'd be
curl.
good.
And just not bat an eye. Just be totally confident about it. And that's why he's
His
awesome.
character, he has presence. He instills fear upon other people,
yeah.
and which is something that he learned in this episode.
Yes.
Because true power comes from fear.
apparently.
Lesson from his daddy.
Yes.
Yep.
So the son basically, Jafar, we learn, is intelligent and speaks up during one of the meetings with, like, other people. I wasn't really sure what kind of meeting this was.
Some kind of
but
council.
Some
War
kind
council
of
or
influential people
United
council.
Nations.
It's a committee.
It's a committee.
United Agrabah.
United Agrabah. And he speaks up because the actual, like, legitimate son, Mirsa. I wrote it down, and now I can't pronounce it.
Mirsa.
Yeah.
It'll sound like mercy.
He did not have the answer, so Jafar jumps in, and then later on, the son comes and, like, smacks him around, and I just wanted to be like, Jafar, you're bigger. You're bigger.
Yeah, but at that
and the kid, Mirza, he was such an ass. I'm like, oh my god,
He was
taught
like the
you that?
prince from Temple of Doom. That's exactly who he reminded me
Oh,
of.
true.
The little prince from Temple of
That
Doom.
is
Yes.
true. I never thought of that.
Oh, I didn't think of that either. If that makes so much sense.
If anyone knows the name of the prince from Temple of Doom and it's Mirsa, I'm gonna feel awesome right now.
That'd be funny. The thing is that if the kid is that violent and that, imposing at such a young age, makes you think how bad is the Sultan at that age? Like, how evil or how mean is he in real life?
Well, we saw he drowned. He literally
I
drowned
know.
his own
He's
son.
like
Yeah.
seriously a badass.
Yeah, so he comes
He's not a
in.
badass. He's
No,
just
no.
an asshole.
He's just
Yeah, he's a
jerk.
real
Yeah.
asshole.
He comes in and he drowns his own child and then has them wrap him up in a rug and dump him outside. I wonder if that becomes the magic rug later. That was the other thing I was thinking about.
well,
I'm
it's the
like-
same color. It was that red color.
Yeah, because
It's
I
hard
was
to
wondering,
tell.
I'm like, maybe out of, like, spite, knowing that he was supposed to die in that rug, maybe he enchanted it.
So also, can we talk about what happened? Was he dead and then came back to life?
That's what I was
what-
made to understand, because the
the
soul
magical-
fairy dust that we established earlier, that your soul looks like fairy dust when it comes and leaves your body. I felt like that's what that was, but then I didn't understand why. Where did that come from?
Well, yeah, because he said that his mom was a healer, so that made me think that she works with some sort of not magical properties, but that she does things to heal people.
I mean,
so
maybe-
it might be magical, but then it was like when she died. So then
like
was it
her
her?
essence.
Was it her protecting him and like bringing him back in that moment, or was it like he said? Was it his anger that brought him back?
See, I would have liked it better because we've established that he's clever. I thought what was going to happen was they were going to take him outside, and then you were going to find out he was pretending he
Yeah,
was
that's
dead.
what I thought. I was waiting for him to stop sooner, like
Yeah.
fighting it, to fake that he was dead.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even check his pulse
Yeah.
or anything. He
No.
just threw him on the ground. It's done.
Yeah.
And what kind of king
Things are
has to do
different.
his own dirty work like that?
Yeah.
He could have easily sent a guard in to kill his
I
son.
think he was that angry, though, about like being, because in this sense, the dad's real issue seems to be that he's faced with his own indiscretion, and he seems to be able to not handle that.
Yeah, exactly. Because he kind of the dad got embarrassed kind of twice when when Jafar called out his son, and then when he almost called him father in front of everyone. So there was like two instances where I can understand he got pissed.
And you know that takes a lot of balls from Jafar as a young child, because most kids who meet their father when they're 13 years old aren't jumping for joy to call them dad and father right away. You know, it's more like, what's up, Dawn?
Yeah.
You know, like, you insert name, you know, people have a hard time adjusting to call someone father or dad. So that kind of shows, you know, that Jafar really did just want his love and his, you know, support, because he was willing to call him father. And also, I found out the Temple of Doom, the prince's name was Zaleem Singh. Oh. So it wasn't, but...
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But thank you. I'm not awesome. So he then, years later, comes back and confronts his dad after he's had another weird parental sexual relationship with that woman.
Medusa!
Yep.
Who I hope that ties into Once, by the way, seeing the previews for that.
I know.
Yeah.
I was really like, ooh, I hope that ties into Once. That would be lovely. So he goes back to confront his dad, and his dad is still a jerk. And now another thing I didn't understand was Mirsa is now like kind of like a scared, weird wussy.
Like a pansy.
And I'm like, is this because your dad was so scary and no one else was around, or like what happened? Because you were pretty much not a wussy before.
But he was only like that with Jafar.
Yeah.
And like when he was in front of everyone and couldn't think of the answer, like he kind of showed his timidness in that moment, and then it was like behind closed doors where he was, you know, Ike Turner on people.
Well, and
maybe he's Jasmine's dad.
that's what I was maybe thinking.
Yeah.
But no, did Jafar kill him, or
I
did he
think
just
Jafar
make him collapse?
killed him.
Yeah, Jafar.
Yeah.
because if he
know.
would, I feel like if he still had him, he would be in a cage.
Yeah.
It's like he just collapsed on the floor. We didn't
That's
really
just
see
not a
it.
It
fair
was kind
fight.
of like the Force. And
Yeah.
I love
It
how
was
that's what
kinda-
Jafar does. He's like Darth Vader. He just uses
He
the
is
Force.
like
He
Darth
like
Vader.
moves people. Sorry, I almost,
That was scary.
I almost merced you. Boom.
We see a lot of the chokehold because we see it a lot in Once Upon a Time too,
Yeah.
and even in this show, like Red Queen does it, and Jafar
We saw
does
Regina
it.
do it.
Regina does it.
Yeah.
I want to say Gold did it, but I can't remember when he
Gold
did
is
it.
like this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure at one point in his life he did
He
it.
did it, too.
So
he goes back and he captures the dad, and then Tiona was really excited that she wrote in her notes in all caps, "We were so right about the Sultan being Jafar's father."
And you have to say, like, we were so right about Jafar's dad being the Sultan.
I mean, we didn't even need this episode because we already knew it was gonna happen. Like, come on.
But also, did anybody think that, okay, so now that we've matched up we've seen the backstory and we've matched it up, did anybody feel like old Sultan was much more of a dick in this episode than he has ever been in the show in the past? I'm like, he magically turned, like, he was pretty cool with Cyrus. He was pretty, like whatever, like sitting in his cage before, not saying anything, and now all of a sudden he's like Captain Dickface.
Well, and he was very selfish, not selfish,
Excuse
but
my
selfless with Cyrus, because Cyrus
Yes.
wanted to rescue him, and he was like, "No, I'm going to slow you down." And so I agree with you. It was very strange because it was like this. It was like almost like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing, and he was just a completely different character this episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I wish they would have maybe shown another side of him so we would understand like his kindness, but
the thing is, have we really seen Jafar and the old Sultan, his father, really have a full-on conversation in any episodes? Had they really had any really moments where they can talk to each other?
No, but
don't
I
think so.
also find it hard to believe, though, that a guy who is just, like, generally ornery is going to be, like, so nice to Cyrus. I'm like, what is your end game here?
I think that the reason he's nice to Cyrus is because it's what Jafar wants. So anything to kind of mess with Jafar's life and ruin it and, you know, get him off of his plan, he's going to clearly be more helpful towards, because he doesn't like him anyway.
Right.
You know, so it's like you have Cyrus here and it's like, no, I want you to escape because I want you to succeed, because I want Jafar's life to be a hot mess right now, because, you know, clearly I'm not going to get out of this anytime soon.
I wish we knew how long the Sultan had been in the cage.
Well, he's definitely grayed.
He is great.
So-
Yeah.
Seriously great.
Seriously grayed.
And he was there longer than Cyrus, so...
who is the new Sultan?
Why didn't you tell us that information? We already knew he was a sultan. Why didn't you just tell us, like, how long he'd been in there? Come on. Give us
And
something.
who is the new Sultan, and is it Jasmine's dad?
And I love
What
how
if there isn't a new Sultan? Because it was interesting. I thought.
just want
No, the
Jasmine.
thing is, did you notice what Sultan was sitting on? This big red platform. It kind of reminded me of Red Queen. Maybe she kind of took over Agrabah a little bit. I don't know. We didn't see any of that, but
'Cause in the
what if there isn't? What if they didn't replace the Sultan yet?
Yeah, because in the movie, I mean, remember Jafar was after, the throne. So maybe Jafar is their, new sultan. Maybe he took over that city and then is here because he's still on this quest to find or to get all the genie bottles so that he
Or-
can change magic.
Or he puts somebody as a figurehead that he can control. Because, he's very controlling of Jasmine's
Yeah.
father. So maybe because he knew he had stuff to do in Wonderland, he has his figurehead there, Jasmine's father, who we might be able to see him go back to Agrabah and show how he kind of has this. It's like his puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so-
I could see that.
He
I could
gave someone else
definitely
some
see
polyjuice potion that he mixed up.
I wrote that
Yeah, I mean, that was straight up polyjuice potion. Straight out of Harry
That's
Potter. I was
awesome.
like, yes! Harry
Wait,
Potter
let's-
reference.
Let's, before we get to the polyjuice
Yeah.
potion part, let's finish the Jafar story. So, in the end, we find that Jafar wants to change the laws of magic because he wants his dad to love and respect him. And I was like, this is a point where even though Jafar kills a lot of people and is pretty much the scariest, biggest jerk around, I'm like, I feel really terrible because, like, it is awful to have, like, your mom die at a young age and then you go and try and meet your dad and he's just a big jerkwad, and then everybody else you hang out with growing up is a jerk, and he really shouldn't have killed his, like, mom girlfriend.
Well, his mom girlfriend was not a jerk to him.
I
so
know.
I don't
That's
know.
why he shouldn't have killed her. Well, he didn't,
didn't
kill
kill
her.
her.
He kept her in his snake stick.
I think you're
Dirty sentence. Oh, we have dirty minds. Sorry, we apologize.
I was like the
Mine
snake stick
together.
was such a good recovery because I was like, this is about to go real south real quick. And then she goes snake stick and it was so PG. I loved it.
Had to keep it PG. That's how we do it here at AfterBuzz. So we find out that he just really wants his dad's love, and that's what his motivation is. And so, interesting, we parallel this story to Alice's dad, where he pretends he goes to Alice's dad and pretends he is a former doctor, which it was interesting. One of the commenters on YouTube was like, they probably didn't have doctor-patient confidentiality rules back then, and I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We figured.
When it's her father, and I don't think Alice is over 18.
No, we were talking last episode about why Jafar could just go in there and ask about other people's patients.
Yeah, okay.
But so then he lures the dad in by having the bunny make a rabbit hole. And
To
he
prove
was-
that Wonderland was
he was kind of surprised, but is anybody surprised how not very surprised he was?
Oh, talking rabbit just came out of a bag.
Yes.
Like,
The poor rabbit. That's like the second time that
I
he
love
got
that rabbit.
exposed
I
just
know.
for proof.
I think
know.
that the animation for that rabbit is, I
great.
feel like it's
Awesome.
better every single time the
Yeah.
rabbit comes
Yeah.
on screen, and I love the voice of John Lithgow. I just get all excited when the rabbit's there.
He is
He
an
is
awesome
really good.
character.
Yeah, and he said, "Why is everyone so surprised?"
I know. And that was the thing, is I was like, but the dad isn't that surprised. Like, either they're trying to play it off as like the dad really did on some level like believe Alice, and he's like, oh, or that man is just not good at acting at that point. But he was better later on.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
kind
why
of felt
don't
like
know.
it was kind of more towards in the back of his mind, he might have actually believed Alice, and then especially once he was remarried to that horrible woman that is
hate
his
her.
wife,
Yeah.
that she really drilled in him that, this is not real, it's not
Right.
real, your daughter's crazy, we need to send her away, and that's why he was kind of more evil in that way.
So then he takes him to Wonderland and he straps him down and makes polyjuice potion.
Well, it seemed like his original plan was to take him straight to Alice and have him do his dirty work. But then when he realized that he doesn't even think he has a good relationship with Alice, and he doesn't really care to work on it, that's when he was like, oh, I better do this myself.
You ask all the questions to the doctor, get all this backstory on Alice, but the one thing you don't find out is that she hates her father. I mean, that he's a horrible hostage to have.
But in fairness, the father did tell him, we don't have the best relationship. I'm probably the last person she wants to talk to. So he did warn him.
Yeah, but I'm saying when he went to, like, the hospital to find, like, he went to go find out, you know, who he could get from Alice's life.
Right.
And the father's just, like, not a good choice.
Well, I mean, the people in the hospital
you're not
probably
gonna
didn't
ask
know too much about her either. So.
Well, you're not going to ask Alice's younger sister or anything, and I don't think we've ever seen any other family members of Alice's. So.
I think, yeah, you're right.
You're going to go to the father.
Figured it was the only living family member, like, directly related to her left, because she didn't really have a relationship with the stepmom or the others.
Did her mother die in childbirth? That's what I'm assuming, because he said I blamed you for your mother dying. Okay, if anybody knows if they've like said anything else of exactly how her mother died, let us know, because I just want to be clarified.
So Jafar does research, basically, like he gives the backstory that to Alice that he went through a mirror, and we see him watching the dad's mannerisms to try and get them down. He asks him if he's right-handed or left-handed, and so he does this basically like performance where he becomes the dad, and he gets the idea from Will about how to put himself in peril to make this go a little bit faster. So he conjures a dragon, which is very easily killed.
I know.
Are dragon hearts located in their armpits? If you know this, please tweet us.
It was like on the right side of the body of the
like
dragon. It was
in the dragon's armpit.
And that was like the perfect shot for Alice.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, on your first shot?
No, okay, and how can you hold up sticks to fire and not be hurt? That
why did the wood not burn?
And the thing, exactly. Why didn't the branches,
Catch fire?
the shafts there, or the rafts that were made out of branches, how come they didn't get engulfed?
Yeah, I know they had magical properties, but I mean, never in her explanation of what they did she say, and they don't catch on fire.
They're impervious to flame.
Yeah, and they usually, set everything up like that, where it's like, oh yeah, we can do this, because if a flood comes, we'll be safe. And then 5 minutes later, a flood comes and they're safe. So I was just kind of thrown off. I was like, that's just wood. It wouldn't have done much.
Random thought. The location where they were filming when the whole dragon thing went down in Vancouver by the rocks, I was like, that's the exact same location they shot X-Men 3 last year. Just saying. When they found Jean Grey's body in the third movie. Sorry, total loser. But yeah.
It's also the exact same location
Vancouver.
as the Enchanted Forest.
Yes.
And probably where Ariel swam up and was like, hey!
No, where she does that is a different location they use on Once Upon a Time for everything. It's like that one, that one
park bench
overlooking the ocean.
Yeah.
It's in Neverland.
I digress. I thought that was cool, though.
That is,
it's Vancouver.
I like that, yeah.
So she saves him by stabbing the dragon, and they have this they reunite, and he's like, oh, I should go with you, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, she watches him eat, and he doesn't pray before eating, and then she realizes it's not her dad because he always prays before eating.
Who knew they were Catholic?
Well, they don't have to be Catholic.
No, but the prayer he said before he
it was
Catholic prayer.
It was Catholic. Yeah, trust me, I know.
Which is interesting because Victorian England, wouldn't they be Protestant?
Yeah, or they'd be the Church of England.
Yeah.
Which a lot of
Just
things
Protestant.
overlap with Catholicism and the Church of England because,
But I'm not sure if they have the exact same prayers that they do, and I don't know.
It was a little bit different. He dropped a line in that prayer.
Oh. Well, maybe that's it.
I went to Christian school, not Catholic school, so I don't know.
Yeah, he dropped the very last line. So.
Oh, maybe that's
I'm like replaying it in my head. And like trying to,
Blessed alert in these, I guess, which we are about to receive from
Thy
thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. He dropped through Christ our Lord.
Okay, well,
interesting.
I missed that one. Nice.
He
catch.
might not have to be Catholic.
That's a good point. So anyway, he says his prayers before his food, before he eats or whatever. And so I love that unceremoniously they just leave him. They're like,
No,
they're
that's
not like,
Um,
that's not gonna work, or
You're gonna stay here.
you're gonna stay
go.
here. They're just like, okay, peace out.
They're like, hey, yeah, that's not my dad. Oh, it's not? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Okay,
Let's just
bye.
walk.
Let's go.
Yeah, they just keep going, which
on a walk.
I thought was awesome. And so, like, Jafar is able to, like, Jafar just changes himself back. 'Cause he's like, guess they're not coming back for me.
And he conjured his staff up from the sand. That was kind of cool.
Yes.
I was like, does it
Snake
just...
stick. Hashtag snake stick.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting where, I guess just wherever he goes, it's just in the earth.
with him. He
Or
can
with
conjure
him, he
it
can
up.
just conjure
Yeah.
it. Because
You
when I
bring
think
your
of
snake stick
conjuring,
everywhere.
it just like hold out his hand and it would like fly,
Yeah.
like Accio staff. Yes, that was another Harry Potter
And
reference.
the dragon looked almost like a horntail. Hungarian horntail to me.
So I just was expecting, the staff
is
to like
true.
come flying through the air, but I liked how it like rose out of the stand.
This is a random tangent, but I just want to talk about the conversation Will had with Alice's dad, but at that point it was fake Alice's dad.
Yes.
I
know.
freaking like Will is
Will
such
is
a
awesome.
good guy.
Good guy.
He's the best friend any girl
That's
could
why I'm
have.
shipping Wallace. Willis.
Willis or Wallace?
Wallace.
I do
That's-
like Wallace better.
I agree. I love that conversation, but too bad it was the wrong guy that he said that to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
But see, what was interesting to me too were the things that Jafar was saying as the dad were things that he would probably want his dad to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like a form of therapy for him because he feels his whole like motivation behind his life is about how poorly his dad treated him. And it was like, this is such an interesting way for him to convey himself because he just really wished his dad would say and do all these things.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was an actor's choice or if this was like actually in the script, but when the first time the Jafar Alice dad has a conversation with Alice and she kind of blows up at him, like I feel like when she walks away, it's almost like Jafar's like has sympathy for her. Like that's
yeah,
what I
no,
saw
I'm
in
sure.
that actor's
Yeah.
in that actor's eyes, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I wonder if that was written in or if that was just a choice that
Probably
he
more
made.
empathy because he also
gets it.
felt he
Yeah.
knows what it's like to be rejected by your father.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
like the first time I ever saw like empathy from Jafar.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, maybe this is where Alice is gonna kind of find a hole and like start kind of pecking away at Jafar. Maybe.
Yeah, because she needs to start doing something.
yeah, she's like,
'Cause-
Still didn't get to that castle.
And it makes the hero villain dynamic even better though because I always feel that the hero dynamic villain is best when they find out they have something in common. The more alike they are, the more interesting it becomes. And so this is her like thing with him. They both have this like broken relationship with their father. It just so happens that like Alice's dad is willing to turn around eventually in the end, and his dad doesn't seem to be willing to budge to the point that he has to use magic. So this is it's like the two paths, like you could see what path one person might take versus
she took
another.
she's good and
Yeah.
then he's bad. Like
Yeah, I like the fact that both of their Achilles heel is kind of something humanistic qualities rather than magical.
yeah.
Right. And he might have empathy for her, but it's like he's still fighting her to get these wishes so he can have his ultimate reconciliation with his dad.
But here's my thing. If Jafar gets these lamps together and, has the genie, all that stuff, does he have to wish this away? Because once he uses up all the wishes, then he loses control of everything too. So is he just gonna not use his wishes but have like what's the
no,
ultimate?
But he'll
he's trying to
still have
collect
it.
Yeah,
all
he'll still
three
have-
genies so that he can change the rules of magic. So that maybe
that
he
he
gets
can get,
unlimited
like,
wishes. Like
okay.
we don't know what
Yeah,
the rule,
we don't know what the
rule
rules
he
are.
wants
he
to
wants to
change.
break.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
to like make them, because one of the rules is you can't make somebody fall in love with you.
Yeah.
I believe, and so maybe like he wants to make his father love him. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why he doesn't want his father to die. Prediction. Boom.
Yep.
I would
Very
drop
good.
the mic if I could, but I can't.
But they're kind of on a stand.
So Jafar, another sidebar about Will. Who wants to see Will cross over to Once Upon a Time? I would
He
love
talked about
that.
Granny.
He talked about Granny.
Yes, he
and
did. That was awesome.
I think when I was watching this, I was like, oh, he's got Granny's key in his
Yeah.
pocket because he was talking about all the random crap that he has in his
Yeah.
pocket. And I was like, oh, I
Stale
really want to
peanut.
see him on Once Upon a Time because he has the key and he has to return it. And he's a nice guy and he really would return that key.
And Granny would kill him. Yeah.
And maybe he would have a love interest with Red.
Ooh.
That makes sense to me
yeah.
for some reason. They're both kind of like
That'd be
bad
cute.
people, but
Them
like,
two
they would
together
have
would
good-
be awesome.
let's make
They
it
would have
happen.
good chemistry. They would
like
Hashtag
it.
Red
They,
and Will.
they both
Yeah.
kind of have attitudes. They're perfect for each other.
Will
like
Red. Willard. I don't know.
trying to
Think
think
up a
about that.
shipper name for them. Tweet it at us. Also, if you want Will to be on Once Upon a Time, the flagship
It's
show,
Ruby.
let us know.
Will and
Ruby.
Ruby, not Red.
Yeah.
Will be?
Ruby.
Ruby.
No, I know.
Will.
Okay, tweet
Ruby, yeah.
us a shipper name.
We digress.
So Jafar brings the dad to Alice, and the dad, oh my god, I'm thinking of a shipper name right now.
Sorry. I'm paying attention.
It's that important.
I was onto something in my head. It just doesn't. It's not a word at all.
So Jafar brings Alice's dad back to them as they ditched old fake dad on the mountain without word, and the dad basically has a reconciliation with her where he apologizes for everything he's ever done, and he's like, I'm sorry, I should have believed you, and then he tells her that Cyrus has escaped, which is the important information.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the
Which
hope.
I loved it because, I just watched Hunger Games
Yeah.
and Catching Fire numerous of times, and President Snow always says hope. Hope is dangerous, and hope is actually a good thing in this show because, hope is
people
powerful.
can't live without hope.
Yeah.
That's how powerful hope is.
Hope is powerful.
And so, so he gives her hope, and then Jafar essentially tries to kill him, but she uses up her second wish to wish her dad back home.
Okay, did you guys see Will's face when she said that wish? He looked at her like, Rick, that last wish is mine, and you've already used two.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now?
I missed that. I have to go back and watch
His
it
face
because
is priceless. It's amazing. I love it.
Was
a
anyone
great actor.
bothered by that wish? I was like, you got to make it a little bit more
was so
specific.
anticlimactic,
I was like,
yeah.
just wish, I wish no harm happens to my father. Not the fact that he goes back home. I mean, come on, we can
Jafar
find
can just
another
go
way to
back and
send him
get
back
him.
home.
Yeah.
But it's like, seriously, make it a little bit more. I don't know what the word, but more protective,
gotta
I
be
guess.
careful with your
specific.
wishes.
Yeah, more
Specific.
specific.
And
I mean,
that was-
granted, he was falling and she had a split second
Right.
thing, but I'm like, come
He
on.
also said, let me die. Don't waste your wish on me. Save your wish and get Cyrus back. So, I mean, I know that if I were in the situation, my dad told me that, I'd probably save him, but my dad's way more awesome than her dad. So there's that.
True story. I've never met your dad, but I'm sure he's a great man.
I mean, he actually, it didn't take putting his life in danger to believe my stories from, childhood to adulthood.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, maybe she shouldn't have wasted it. He said, let him die.
But I kind of like the fact that she did. Throughout this whole episode, we saw that broken relationship. Now they're kind of mending it, and now she really does kind of love her father again to the point where she wants to save him.
I think she always loved him. I think she was so heartbroken and disappointed. That was her reaction to him. It's it's hard to let you can love someone, but it's hard to let someone into your life if you're afraid they're going to continuously disappoint
Well,
you.
and she didn't think he loved her.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's like, as much as I might love him, he doesn't love me, so it's not gonna change anything.
Right.
He's not gonna treat me any better. So
Right.
screw you. And I don't see. This is also why I wonder why she didn't just let him die, because I don't think she has any plans of going back home. Even before he came back, I don't think she ever wanted to reconcile or see that world again.
No, but she cared enough about him to want to save him.
Exactly.
And I mean, and Will makes the same point that Marissa made, which is you wishes come with a price. So you made that wish, but it's you don't know exactly what it's about, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah, and the other thing I didn't really like about it was Jafar just said, she's talking this big game, hey, this isn't going to work again. You're going to keep putting people's lives in danger that I care about. It's not going to work. He's like, well, until it proves otherwise. And then she just let it prove against. I'm like, okay, so who's the third person who he's gonna get to, make her use that other wish?
And who totally saw it? I totally saw it when after Will freaks out and like wishes have a price. I'm like, he's gonna go back and
like,
think it's a
gonna...
dream. So yeah, that happens. He goes back and the ex-wife basically convinces him he had a bad dream. And you can see the hesitation.
Stepmother.
Yeah.
I hate her.
She's like so sly, and I don't know. There's something so deceiving and very shady about her.
Yeah. There's.
Maybe she's otherworldly.
Yeah, I would bet that.
Maybe she's Cinderella's.
She's definitely a character in something.
There's something up with her.
Something is
They
brewing.
wouldn't waste the time of putting her in so many. They have her in randomly in very small parts just to like show, oh, she's still here. And so there's absolutely a reason.
But even her reaction for that split second, that you could tell something's up with her.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been cool? This is not who it is at all, but wouldn't it have been cool if it had turned out to be the Red Queen's mom?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not her. Like, I know it's not, but that would have been a kind of cool twist.
I think that would have been a cool twist.
That her stepmother ended up, and they don't even know that.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
It's not. I am your father.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good twist. So maybe I should be in the writers' room.
Hey, everyone on Once is related usually.
Exactly.
As I learned
Have
from
you seen Henry's Family
the
Tree?
flagship show. Yeah.
Seriously.
There is.
Incest
It's actually
like no
been tweeted.
other.
Like when you look at the family tree, you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Incest.
poor Henry.
Yes.
So you guys want to jump
So Cyrus then. Cyrus is first off. Okay, it looked like you committed suicide in the last thing, which generally, like, that's not the best option when you're trying to like go and find your love. You're like, I would jump off this cliff, and like my love will save me. And
Lovers
both,
leap.
both Alice and Cyrus seem to have this like very.
I think they're indestructible.
Yeah,
they think of their love.
Yeah, they think that, and she even says to Will, she's like, "Oh, it'll all work itself out." I'm like, "You need a plan.
Yeah.
You need a plan."
Yeah, the interesting thing is that Alice wants to go up to the castle, and Cyrus is not on the castle. He's on the ground, so, like, they're going to go, like, opposite directions.
But now that
and
she
miss
knows,
each other.
she knows he escaped.
Now.
Yeah. Nope.
And so he was face down in the sand, because you can fall in the sand from that height.
He got washed up. He got washed up from
yeah,
the
I think
water.
he
Oh, I
But
thought he
didn't
was
the queen
sand
say,
planted.
like, all the guards were like, oh, yeah, we've circled the beach and haven't found him anywhere? He's lying in the sand.
For real
Clearly
long
you didn't
time.
do your job that well. Or
Well, you've seen her guards.
yeah.
They dress like David Bowie. They don't know what's going on.
They got these weird things over their face, like pantyhose over their heads or something.
Yeah.
I think they were about to rob a convenience store.
Hey, when you took the throne and it's not yours, you get what you can get. You get what you
Guess
can get.
so. But did you want to complain about something or talk about?
Oh, why was Cyrus asleep the whole damn episode? Like, we have this whole thing happening, all this, story and everything, and we see him in the beginning. Did we see him at the beginning?
Near the
Yeah,
beginning.
near the beginning, and then at the end, he finally wakes up on the sand. I'm like, oh, now you want to come play? Episode's over, buddy. You just wasted your time on a nap.
Well, that's like when they put Will in a block of stone for an entire episode.
Exactly.
That
It's
is
like,
true.
why do the boys have to be? Why can't they ever be awake and having fun at the
Cognizant.
same time?
Yeah.
Why can't they both be free at the same time? Because Cyrus
And you
was trapped.
Yeah, and you said fun, which reminded me of Jafar said, let the fun begin, or the real fun is about to begin. And
Yeah.
it just reminded me of Peter Pan and
Oh,
his
let's
games
play.
and fun. Yeah.
And can we talk about how the Red Queen totally got caught talking crap about Jafar?
I love it. That was so mean, girl. So mean, girl.
She's like, what do you want? And then Jafar's just like right there, and he's like, what was that? It's like, well, he knows your whole plan now, and he knows that you have the bottle. So
He always knows all her stuff. Jafar is just
She's not smart enough to
Yeah.
like be sneaky. She's not smart enough to be sneaky.
no.
Yeah.
She's not.
I love her though. Her dress was gorgeous.
She
Yeah.
has amazing outfits, yes.
She's so lucky. God. I love the Red
So-
Queen.
So we see in the next episode that
Cyrus and Alice
Yeah,
meet
Cyrus and
see each
Alice
other.
see each other. So that's the big mid-season
And there-
finale
looks
before
like
they
a-
rejoin in March.
Yeah, it looks like a storm is brewing, which
We
reminds me of
always
Once Upon a
know.
Time.
Storms. They're usually full of magic.
Yeah.
wasn't-
And the Red Queen deflects something. Like, she was standing next to Alice and then Will, and she, like, deflecting magic or something. What it looks like. So, I don't know. Something's about to go down.
And news and gossip, they're gonna...
Let the sound effect happen.
Okay, there we go. Yes, thank you, Phil. So Cora is going to be in an upcoming episode.
Yes!
Yes,
I love Barbara Hershey.
She's amazing.
She's phenomenal.
I don't know if it's going to be a flashback or whatever, but she's going to be in an episode. So far, only one episode in March after they come back from this break. So my guess is that, and now this goes into predictions.
Let the sound effect happen, okay, guys? Phil was a little late on that one. It's okay.
It's okay. He wasn't expecting that from me.
It's all right. He's doing a lot.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting that turnaround. So, what was I gonna say? Oh my gosh.
Your
my brain-
prediction
talking
about the
about-
March.
Oh yeah, my
Cora.
brain. Yeah. So my guess is next week when that's gonna be the cliffhanger. There's gonna be some cliffhanger that then leads into the March episode with a flashback with Cora. So I don't know if it's gonna have to do with like how the queen became queen.
That's cool
or-
because the Red Queen is from Alice Through the Looking Glass, and the Queen of Hearts is from Alice in Wonderland. So
Right.
they're definitely related in some way. Well, not related, but it's all relative within Alice.
So I'm really interested to see what that is, and my prediction is that the end of the next episode is going to be a prep for Cora somehow.
Okay. I'm going to predict that I haven't figured out why she does this, but at some point the Red Queen is actually going to end up on Alice and Cyrus's side.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that for sure.
I haven't decided what's going to happen to make this happen, but that's where it's going. Because,
see
I
that.
mean, now Jafar knows all her secrets and...
And the Red Queen deflected power. It might have been to,
to
protect Alice and Will. Okay.
Because, she's probably getting tired of Jafar, and I mean, he's probably going to shove her. She probably figures he's going to shove her aside if he gets into power. So now she has to.
Absolutely.
I think with the storm coming, it might be obviously the Queen of Hearts because she's magical. So it might be something that she conjured up.
I think that the storm might be a residual effect of the curse. Although no, that timeline doesn't work out. I'm trying to, because I was thinking, maybe like Wonderland is getting a little bit, maybe the Cora is escaping the curse and
No,
coming
because
to
that
Wonderland
happened
or
in the
something.
beginning
Yeah.
of Wonder of this series. I'm also happy that Lizard does not seem to be coming back.
I forgot about her.
Anywhere.
What happened to her?
Completely forgot
I
about
don't
her.
care.
Did nothing.
Oh, and one thing I noticed during this episode was at one point when Jafar came back to life, I think as a child, his eyes kind of did that, like after the spirit dust went
like the
away, his
Peter Pan
eyes
thing?
kind of did like that glowing like the snake eye does in his staff. Like that red little glimpse of red light there. I don't know. Maybe I was really tired when I was watching it and I was seeing things, but that's what I saw last night.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't know what
wanna-
it means.
Watch that.
I hope that has some sort of meaning, because why else would you have him be dead and then come back to life?
Yeah.
When you could have him be faking it. It has to have some sort of meaning. Why would you use that effect if it didn't? I don't understand. Yeah.
It takes too long in the editing room to do that.
Right. Exactly. Any last
Too
thoughts?
expensive. No, I'm good.
All right, thank you for listening. You can find me on Twitter at 123Jackie_B and at 123JackieB, all one word, on Instagram.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KeetinM33.
And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
Thanks for listening, guys.
See you in March.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.